So living my life trying to do my best not to tell people what to do. But today I got something to tell you, and especially for folks that are going through their lives wondering what to do, wondering certain things that guarantee success. Well, here's some ideas that I had to guarantee success. If sounds like something that's interesting to you, stick around. Now, the first thing you got to know, absolutely make sure you have kids. There's a bunch of reasons for this. You can blame things on them. You can convince them that they want or need things that you want or need. Another great thing about kids. Let me explain. I had an old beat up piece of crap truck sitting out in the bush, and always wanted to do something with it, could never justify it. And then this young lad that looks somewhat like me and talks somewhat like me and obviously thinks somewhat like me, he says to me, he says, "Dad, I think I want that truck." Well, that's all it took. I spent way more money than I should have, resurrected that old truck, and now him and I both enjoy that thing like mad. So this truck, we tore it right down to a bare frame. We probably went way too far. You know, we went way further than we should have. Tore it right down to the bare frame, painted the frame, started putting things back together, and that's like basically the deepest I'd ever gotten into paint and body. There was tons and tons of rust repair, and really enjoyed that part of it. Like all the rust was replaced with new metal. Where I could, I bought patches. Where I couldn't, I actually fabricated the patches. There's some videos on doing this truck, but I didn't really start YouTube until after this truck was largely done. Like the major work was actually all done on it. But you know what? I have absolutely no regrets for all the time and effort and the money that we put into this thing. It is an 89 Dodge short box, half-ton, four-wheel drive. It's got Dana 60 axles front and rear. Basically, the main reason I put those in, I put them in there when I was a kid. I've owned this thing for a very long time. Put those Dana 60 axles in because they had the 410 gears, and that's what I wanted to run with the 35-inch tires that I have on it. It's got a 360 Magnum that's been converted to carburetor, and a 727 automatic. Everything's all been rebuilt. New NP 241 transfer case that actually still needs a little bit of work. But all in all, this is a super good, super tough rig. We pretty much drive it anywhere we want to drive it. There is still a little bit of a vibration that we're still chasing down, but this has been a great truck for us. We've both really enjoyed it, and I can't say enough about how good and how much we love this truck. Rule number 1, have kids. Rule number 2, make sure if you're going to have a midlife crisis, which you should, don't have just one. Start young. I had my first midlife crisis when I was 30. It's a good idea because you might die at 60. Frick, who knows? My first midlife crisis was when I bought my first Duster. No, my first Duster was a 80s Dream Machine. It was a 74 Duster. It had a 360, a 904, 8 1/4 rear end with a 321 and a sure grip. It was actually a really nice car. It drove really well. It had decent-ish interior. The only problem was when I started digging into it to really start doing the repair work to it, unfortunately, it was rusted so horrendously underneath that I got scared, and I decided that I needed to use the best parts out of it in a different car. In retrospect, I really wish I would have kept the body itself. I sold it to a guy that cut a bunch of good patch panels out of it, and it did get put to use. But unfortunately, if I knew then what I know now, about what's possible and how easy it is to do sheet metal repair on a unibody car. I totally could have brought that thing back, and I really wish that in retrospect, I really wish that I still had that car around. But you know what? It's one of them things you can't keep them all. I always got to remind myself of that. But that was basically my first Mopar that was not a truck. So I'll always remember that car fondly, and the good times that I had with it. I screwed around with it now and again for a little while, and did a bunch to it and had a bit of fun with it. But then, when I was about 40, I decided I better have another midlife crisis because there's a hell of a lot better chance of dying at 80 than it is of dying at 60. So I figured I don't want to miss out on that. So that's when I bought the car that would end up being this red rig that's behind me that I got torn apart again. But that was midlife crisis number two, and you don't want to miss out on that because midlife crisis number two, that might be the most important one. Now, this car, there's lots of information just going back through all the different videos on my channel, identifying just exactly what it is. Basically, it's a 74 Duster, 360, A500 overdrive automatic. It's got a 430 rear gear with a sure grip and an 8 and 3/4. It it's really come a long ways. I bought the body down in Texas just as a restored painted shell, and I've put it together just a few different times. Like I've kind of several different iterations. It started out with the powertrain out of my white car, and it slowly morphed to the overdrive, and then to the 8 and 3/4, and then to the 430, and I added air conditioning. It was a factory AC car, and I've added cruise control. I mean, that's where this car really is I want it to be, as capable as it can be at the track for what it is, while still being a real nice highway cruiser type of rig that I can enjoy with my family. And it's really, again, it's a part, again, it's getting a converter and some better drag racing shocks and things like that, but it's really kind of my ultimate car. So I'm really happy with the way it's turned out. Now here I am, 50 years old. I'm well, obviously I'm a lot more optimistic now because I'm thinking I'll probably make it to 100. So I better have another midlife crisis. What did I do? I bought a race car. You got everybody. If you're gonna live to be 100, you might as well at least say you had a race car at one point in your life. So you're crazy not to. And this is what I bought. Now this one's a 73 Duster. It's I bought it from the original owner that has drag raced it just about his whole entire life. I don't I mean, yeah, it sounds dumb, but I bought it without knowing a whole crap load about it. But I knew enough to know that it was a hell of a deal. So I picked it up. It's got a W2 headed 416 small block with the Mopar Performance X block, and it sounds like it, from what I'm told from a couple of friends that knew the owner, it dynoed in around 650 or 700 horsepower, and it's got nitrous on top of that. So it was a 10-second bracket car is basically what it was used as. Apparently, it's got more power than the 8 3/4 rear end can handle. So the guy was only actually running it at about 2/3 throttle when he was operating it. So one of the first things I'll do is probably dump a Dana 60 or maybe a Ford 9-inch or something in the back just to be able to maybe make use of the entire power that this thing can make. Like I said, I don't know a lot about it. There's going to be a whole bunch more information coming up on it in the near future for anybody that's interested in watching more and more of my videos. Really excited about this, and it comes with a whole whack of different parts. It's an old school build from an old school racer, and it comes with a whole bunch of old school parts. It comes with a complete spare motor that I know nothing about. All I know is that it's got a 360 block, it's got X heads, and it's got a real high performance intake on it, but there'll be more on that coming soon too. So if you see this video when it's first coming out, I'll probably be on the road picking up my race car as this first comes out and airs and goes live. But I'll be doing a few things with it. I still got a bunch of work I got to do with my original car, and I've got a whole bunch of plans for that car. It's gonna be I'm not sure where I'm going to go with it. I really don't even know a whole lot about it. It was one of them things, I bought it. I knew enough to know that it was a hell of a deal. So I'm going to start out messing around with it the way it is. Check it out real good, make sure everything's good, everything's safe, get that engine running. And that's going to be my number one goal. I want to run it down the track a few times this year. Now, I'm not dumb enough to not realize that going basically a 10-second or less car is going to be a whole hell of a lot different driving than a 1330 car like I'm driving now. So I'm gonna take it easy. I'm gonna go at it nice and slow, and most of all, I'm gonna have fun. But in the next couple weeks, you'll see a little bit of stuff now and again about what I discover with this car and what I discover with the whole whack of parts that are coming with it. So hopefully you tune in and check things out. And I'm really looking forward to this. I'll try and take a little bit of video of picking up the car. I don't think that's maybe going to be a thing, but definitely when I'm unloading and going through everything, I'll do my best to reveal the car, and sometime real soon there'll be a video describing exactly what my third and hopefully not final midlife crisis is gonna turn into. So sounds like something that's interesting to you. Keep an eye on the channel. If you just subscribe, it gives you a notification when I bring out some new nugget of wisdom like I did today. So just think about that. It's free. Give me a like, follow along, and hopefully everybody enjoys my new stupid purchase as much as I do. Thanks for watching.